Hey guys, today I'm going to go through the API website. If you Google API ICP for Individual Certification Program, you can find this website. It comes straight away to this website. Let me tell you how this works. Right, and API ICP. So this is the first one that normally comes around, and then you see this website. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about API 570. All you need to know about the application for exam registration and how to attend the exam and all the important information that you need to know. Now, at the moment, you can do remote testing by remote proctoring, and you can apply through here, which takes you to that. Practically, you create an account with API ICP. This is free. You fill in the all the application form, upload your testimonials like your qualification, and note your experience, and provide 2 references to verify your experience, and then select after paying the fees. You also select in the meantime the exam window and whether you want to do remote or in any Prometric test center. Prometric is the one who is subcontracted by API to hold this computer-based exam. So if you select the remote, you can do the exam from the comfort of your home or your office, and the same certain rule applies, such as at the time of exam, they do the ID verification. You have to hold your government issued valid photo ID in front of the camera on your desktop. The invigilator is watching you. You need to turn around the laptop or desktop to show to the invigilator that there is nobody in the room, there is nothing on your table, and you're not allowed to leave the room without the invigilator's permission. Nobody is allowed to enter or leave the room, and they would ask you the same security check, and they might ask you to show your sleeves, etc. Okay, so this is about remote testing, and the important thing is once you apply for these and pay the fees, you also need to select the exam window. And the exam window, say for example, if you click this schedules and fees, and you come to schedules, look for, say in this case, API 570. There was one at 10th July, June to July 1, and so that's done. The next one is October 14 to November 4. So this also, if you have not applied yet, this is the application deadline is August 12. So you cannot do this, then you have to do for the next year. For example, if I go to 2023 here and look for API 570, the first exam that you can do is from February 10 to March 3 with a deadline on December 9. Okay. So this is the application deadline. This is when you should have applied and paid the fees, and normally once they receive all these fees and your application, they will within a day or 2 they will send an email to your references. Better to sit with your references so they can verify what you have claimed. Okay, so once the references verify that, it just takes a minute. They will send you an email authorization and with a link to Prometric. So you punch in your email authorization number, and then the Prometric asks you, they already know about the test center, like the window that you have selected. So you just punch in your postcode or your address or the city, and they will tell you on that city how many test centers are, or if it is not the nearest one, where is it? If you had done the remote one, so then the test center is not really important, is it? Because eventually you're doing it from the comfort of your home or your office. So in this case, The next one is Feb 10, and they do it 3 times a year. And you have to, if you fail, you can reschedule again for the next exam. And here you see for 570 there is this schedule, February to March, the 3 weeks exam window. The other one is June 9 to 30 of 2023 with a deadline on April 7. Anytime before this you have to apply. You can even apply now for this window or the window on 2023, the last one, which is on October 3 to November 3. So let's go about see what are the fees. It will cost you $940 unless your company is an API member. Remember, API does not give individual membership, so unless your company is a member, you have to pay $940. And if you fail the exam, you want to reschedule, or the exam window, you could not find the test center, you're too late for any reason, you could not, or you went there and you didn't have a valid government ID like a passport or driving license, it's all called a no-show. So you have to reschedule, or if you fail, and then you pay $300, and the API would send you another email authorization. So there would be no reference check at this point because they already done it. So you can do up to 4 attempts or 1 year. Okay, 4 consecutive attempts you can do 3, and then if you cannot pass within a year, then you have to apply all over again, and with initial application, then it's not rescheduling, and pay $940. Okay, if you want to get more information about API 570, you click on certification, you go to drop down window and select 570, and it gives you all the information. For example, they expect you to have a broad knowledge about maintenance, inspection, alteration, and repair of in-service piping system, and then they talk about the exam structure is 7.5 hours long. That includes a short tutorial that's 10 minutes, or if you end it earlier, and the tutorial tells you how the buttons work. There is 2 hours 45 minutes for closed book. Do you have a 45-minute break? And then there is a 3 hours 45 minutes for the open book part, where you have access to the documents without the search ability. So total question was 170 questions, 140 are scored, 30 are pretest questions. Now I need to explain a bit about this pretest question. How the API question or the publication effectivity sheet or reference documents are designed is that they would first prepare a job description, for a typical job description for API piping inspector. So based on job description, it shows what you're supposed to do, and in order to do that duties as the job description, what you're supposed to know, and that would be the basis for the reference documents that come in the exam that you need to study and learn, understand and apply. And the questions are mostly there to verify that your understanding of the concepts is a basic level. So you should understand the vocabulary, terms, definition, the many questions coming from there. And mostly the question doesn't come directly from the code, but in the context, in the scenario. So it's very important that you understand the concept and you have the knowledge and you know how to apply them. That's all about it. Regarding the open book, you should be very good at document navigation. So you should know to find the chart or the graph or table or the formula or the answer to an open book question, which document is relevant and which section in the document. So if you cannot find that section in the documents, you look at the table of contents If you cannot find it, go to the list of tables or list of figures, and then still if you cannot find it, just make a note of it and then jump to the next question, flag it off, and then at the end come back, and or maybe when you're looking for other answers, you might find the answer to the question that you couldn't find in first place. Don't waste more than 1 minute on a closed book or more than 2 minutes on an open book question to find answer. If you cannot find it, just move on, because you need to manage your time. Now, this time that I told you, 2 hours 45 minutes open closed book, and 3 hours 45 minutes for open book. 110 question closed book, 60 question open book. That means you got 1.5 minutes for on average for open book, closed book, and 3 minutes 45 seconds for open book on average. But you are expected to do it faster than this rate. This means you should answer 40 questions per hour during closed book and 16 questions per hour during open book in order to keep the pace. But obviously it's always recommended to do it faster, so that at the end you have 15-20 minutes or half an hour to go over all these flagged off questions that you were in doubt, or those questions that you could not answer, you could not find the answer. The other trick is that if you can do by reason of deduction, like if you know some answers are totally wrong, you can right click on those answers, striking them off, and thereby focusing on the possible right answer, and then take your chances. The tips I can give you is that always choose the best answer. You might find that occasions there are a couple of answers that both could be right, but choose the one that has best answer, because API says always asking you to use your best of judgment and select the best answer that you think would be out of the 4. It's a computer-based multi question, 4 question normally, 4 answers, and you have to tick one of them and it changes color, and then you can jump to the other question. So having talked about this, let's go to the pre-test frequently asked questionnaire. There is a lot of useful information you can find here. A couple of them. What's the purpose of this? How the pre-test question? No, it does not impact you, but because they are mixed together and it's not marked, you don't know whether this is a scored question or non-scored question. Have to answer all of them, all 170, although 30 are not marked, but you have to answer them. The reason they do this pre-test question is that once they design a new question by one of the subject matter experts, it's checked by 3 other subject matter experts of API, and to find out whether the questions that is being designed, is it relevant to the job description or what API 570 inspector need to know, and whether it is clear enough or not to enable a candidate to answer it correctly. And then this pre-test question goes to the exam as non-scored question, and the reason is that they want to know the level of difficulty, how many statistically get some numbers to see how many people answer it correctly, or was it too difficult, or was it too easy, or has it been challenged by any candidates, for any reason. So once it passed that test, then it goes, those pre-test questions will go to permanent data bank as a scored question, and hence that non-scored version, because API keeps updating this question data bank. Okay, let's go to exam tutorial. This is in the beginning of exam. Once they verify your name, and you can see your name here. This is, say for example, here you see is Donahu Patrick. So so make sure that this is actually, if not, then you have to tell the invigilator that this is not your name. So make sure that you are actually giving the exam. And then you'll see something like this during tutorial. I tell you, okay, 170 question, 390 minutes in total, 470 question, 2 parts exam, and it gives all this explanation. A calculator is available after completing reviewing all question. Within the closed book, you can navigate the schedule break by clicking finish section. So once you say finish section, you can go. So whether you run out of time, say 110 question, 2 hours 45 minutes, closed book. So if you run out of time, automatically that section is finished. Or if you click the finish section button, and so your break starts. And remember that once the break starts, you have to be there behind your desk maximum before that 45 minutes to start your second part, which is the open book. If you're not there, the exam automatically starts, and you're losing time here. And one of our candidates was lost on his break, and by the time he came up to the behind his desk, he was already half an hour behind because the exam already started. So if you're going to toilet, you're drinking water, you want to make some comments, and whatever you do, it's actually the clock is ticking and it's coming off your time. So be there before the 45 minutes break finishes, okay? So it tells you how to answer the question. You can read this, it's very user-friendly. You can see the timing here, and you can see which question you are attempting here, and the list of questions come this way. You can jump from one question to another, or you can use next or back button, and carry on answering the question. So, and it tells you how many questions are there, and say you're on question 0, which question you're attempting. And if you want to finish this, you click this. But we recommend that you use maximum use of your time, and even if you are finish it early, have a review of the questions, make sure that everything you have answered, and this shows the remaining time. Say here 9 minutes 47 seconds left. So this is a 10 minutes thing. You can flag it off, so, and you can see the review flagged off question or marked question. And if there is a question is long, it says this page records scrolling, so you have to come down and see the whole thing before answering. And okay, time remaining, we talk about the next button, flagging off. You can flag it off and it turns color. So at the end, you can once you click on this, it turns color, so that means that's the answer you have chosen. And there is a calculator there with the icon calculator, and you can do any calculation you need here if you need it. And you can also drag and put drag the mouse over the sentences or the words, and you can highlight them if you need. And if you want to strike out, you right click and that strikes off that answer. If you left click, you choose it. Okay, you have chosen the answer. And at the end, you can filter by unattempted question, attempted question, and flagged off question. So always at the end, check by unattempted question to see that you have not left anything unattempted, and the one that you have unattempted, you have got different colors here, as you can see. And if you want to make a comments, you can always make a comment on a question, but remember that it's coming off your allowance. The rest of them is same as used on a computer screen. And this is the open book part where you got the list here, and you can click on that and you can go through table of content and then click on that, or you can go page by page. And as I said, if you can't find the topic, and you can go to table of list of tables, list of figures, because they are far less than the table of contents, and you might find the right page. But the best thing is to solve our mock exam questions, and also even if it's a simple calculation or if it's a reference to somewhere, you go to that document and frequent these codes and recommended practices. So you get the feeling of it or the hack of it. So practice. And we have also highlighted the numbers, especially on long code like ASME 9. Most of the information is between page 170 to 190. Okay, so we have also highlighted them where it is. But practice saves you a lot of time. So if you click this button, you can go to apply. Okay, there is an exam and scoring, frequently asked question, you can check here. And there is also frequently asked question on Prometric that you can check. Okay. Last thing is I want to explain is the tutorial about the publication effectivity sheet and body of knowledge. As you can see here, there are two. So the first one is till February. It's valid, this publication effectivity sheet, and the second one is for 2023 exam. Okay, so if you are applying for 2023 exam, you have to choose this one. And publication effectivity sheet based on the job description, they come up with these documents that you need to know, and these all would be the exam come from this document, so you have to study this document. So the most important thing, API 570, almost 45%, 50% question come from here in conjunction with 574 piping inspection practice. And be careful that you're looking at these revisions here. So anything if it comes here in red, that means this is a new revision or a new document has been added. In 571 damage mechanism terms definition, and this some 15 damage mechanism that you should be briefly aware of. Inspection of practice for piping, this should be read in conjunction with the 510, and 576 is inspection of relieving devices, and only you need to read this section 5, 6 and 10, 8 and 10. Okay. 577 the entire document, 578 again the entire document, welding inspection and PMI, ASME section 5, NDE it would be only articles 1, general, RT, PT, MT, VT, LT and UT 0 degree prop. And for ASME section 9 welding, it would be welding only. Okay, no brazing or any other things. Only the QW section. And B16.5 is about flanges, and B31.3 is the construction code for piping. And this has been in red. So this is a new addition, PCC2 repair of pressure equipment and piping. Okay, and you should know about these articles. We have included them in our learning course. You can come to inspector-training.com and look at our courses and study all this. Been in module 1 and 2, this information, and it's free for all to use, plus a free quiz. Now you also got a body of knowledge, and as you can see, it's got a corresponding validity here. So for 2023, you need to click on this. Here it also tells you what are the reference document without the revision number, and it tells you what you expected to know. So here you should know about calculation for evaluating thickness measurement, inspection interval, piping integrity. Also refers to these sections of API 570 here, for example, for corrosion and inspection interval. So these are doubly important. These have to, this definitely there is question coming from here, from this table, and this section 6, section 7.1, 7.2, and B31.3, definitely question coming from 303, 302, 34, and 33. And you should know about well-joined quality factors, casting quality factors, internal pressure, minimum thickness of pipe, or the design thickness, 304.1.2 and 0.1. The pressure testing you should know about. Again, it gave reference here. Impact testing gave reference, preheat and heat treatment requirement, thermal expansion, minimum wall thickness, working pressure for flanges, be 16.5, and it gives you the tables that you need to know how it works. They give you, these are open book questions. Minimum required thickness of a permanent blank, again be 31.3, and these are not, look at this, it says not to be expected to know, so you don't need to know. So just for clarity, you don't need to know about these other sections, okay? So most of them are from the section 3.4 and 3.23. So these are not included. So just to make it clear for you. Building procedure qualification, as in section 8, you should know about how a WPS should have a PQ or WPQ. And then building procedure review only includes these parameters and only one single process. You should know about typical joints, and then API 570, and then non-destructive examination. What you should know mostly, you should know about the scope, the calibration, the records, the procedure for RT, PT, NT, LT, UT, BT. So that's all, guys. Thank you very much. And you should know also, you should have some practical knowledge, general and specific, and these are easy to know. Thank you for listening, and like and share and study our free modules. And if you like, you can purchase our courses, including API 570 Pressure Vessel Inspector.